creeps. I hope you're all doing well on this spooktacular day, and welcome to week 2 of my 61 days of Halloween event. I also want to welcome you all back to my catacombs of creepiness and my cemetery of screams. Here in my catacombs of creepiness, we talk all things horror, big or small, with both the living and the dead. Well, it's time, my lovely ghouls. Be sure to find a seat on the nearest tombstone, grab a skull full of popcorn, and enjoy the show. As we are taking a trip through Miskatonic U and all things Lovecraftian with Lovecraft/Miskatonic U week. This week we decided to cover as many Lovecraft films as we could find, and even include a few films as a bonus that aren't really Lovecraftian but mention Miskatonic U. So the films we included this week were The Haunted Palace, 1963, Die Monster Die, 1965, The Dunwich Horror, 1970, Reanimator, 1985, my personal favorite, Bride of Reanimator, 1990, From Beyond, 1986, Color Out of Space, 2019, Castle Freak, 1995, and our bonus non-Lovecraftian movies, but mention Miskatonic U, and those are Killjoy, the Demon Clown, 2010, Killjoy Goes to Hell, 2012, and Killjoy Psycho Circus, 2016. So fun. So many fun movies for Lovecraft/Miskatonic U week, which brings me to the topic of this week's 61 Days of Halloween video. Horror movies that feature or mention Miskatonic U. Now, what is Miskatonic U? Miskatonic U is the fictional university that is featured in a lot of Lovecraftian tales, and even role-playing games and board games as well, that are based on Cthulhu mythos. It's located in the fictional town of Arkham in Essex County, Massachusetts. Not to be confused with Batman, of course, although that's where they did get the idea for Arkham from. It first appeared in H.P. Lovecraft's short story from 1922, Herbert West, Reanimator. Then it went on to appear in several Lovecraftian stories that featured Cthulhu mythos. So obviously I can't name every film that has featured Miskatonic U, but I will feature 5 Lovecraftian films that do. And these are some of the best, at least in my personal opinion. Number 5, The Dunwich Horror, 1970. In this film, the Necronomicon is being studied by Dr. Henry Armitage at Miskatonic U in Arkham as a part of his occult lecture on their local history. Number 4, Reanimator, 1985. Dr. Dan Kane and Dr. Herbert West are medical students at Miskatonic University and go on to attempt to perfect the reanimation of dead bodies with a glowing serum that Dr. West has created. And if you've seen this film, you know that it doesn't quite work out to their satisfaction. And that's, putting it mildly. Number 3, Bride of Reanimator, 1990. While Dr. Dan Kane and Dr. Herbert West were students at Miskatonic U and Reanimator, they went on to work at Miskatonic Hospital in this one. Now, it's unclear if it's the same exact place as in Reanimator, but I think it's safe to say it is, that the hospital is connected to the university, because it kind of showed that in Reanimator. They both become doctors and continue their mission to attempt to create new life. But this time, that includes building a woman, much like the plot of Bride of Frankenstein, but done a little better in my opinion. Number 2, Color Out of Space, 2019. If you're familiar with the film Die Monster Die, 1965, starring Boris Karloff, well, this is just another adaptation of that, and of course the H.P. Lovecraft short story of the same name, Color Out of Space. When a strange meteor hits a secluded family's farmland and begins to infect both their bodies and their minds, transforming living creatures into hideous monsters, a sample of the area's water supply is actually sent to Miskatonic U to be analyzed and tested for any contamination. While it doesn't really feature Miskatonic as much as the other films, it is mentioned in the story a great deal. And last but not least, number 1, From Beyond, 1986. This one also starred Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton from Reanimator, and the film features 2 scientists who create a machine called the Resonator, which stimulates the pineal gland, and when this happens, it makes you see particles and organisms that you can't see with the naked eye. Unfortunately, when one of the scientists is killed by a creature that spawned when the resonator is first turned on, Jeffrey Combs' character is accused of his murder and he's placed in a psychiatric ward. That is until Barbara Crampton, who plays a doctor who happened to study at, and you guessed it, Miskatonic U, visits Jeffrey Combs, and she wants to recreate the experiment. She wishes to help him recreate the experiment to help prove that he's not crazy. While it doesn't really show Miskatonic U much, it does mention it, as it does in a lot of Lovecraft's work. Well, that's the list, guys. Short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're enjoying the entirety of the 61 Days of Halloween event thus far. Next week, we are covering Supernatural Week, which I am really excited about. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of my spooky uploads, and be sure to also follow me on all social media platforms at Purgatorihorror. Same username for everything, just makes things so much simpler. Also, if you ever wanted a way to support the content that I create, well, now you can. I have a Patreon page, so be sure to check it out, and I'll put the link to that in the description below and support me there. And also, real quick, big thanks to all of my current supporters and patrons, whether you're on Twitter or whether you're on Patreon or another platform. You guys rock. I couldn't do this without you. I'm serious. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I love you. So long and pleasant screams.